You know what? You got a new angel
Yeah.
watching over you and watching your steps and continue her legacy,
Yeah.
which is amazing.
Yeah.
How old was she?
35. She just turned 35. The last time I seen her was on her birthday in July.
Oh, and her name is Shea. Shea Marie?
Shea Marie.
Shea Marie.
Yeah.
Beautiful name. Shea Marie.
Yeah.
What am I gonna do? I can't get through to you. You look right through me. You just can't see me. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? I can't get through to you. You look right through me. You just can't see me. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? I'm gonna stop thinking about you and move on to better things. That's what I'm gonna do. What am I gonna do?
You have seen that you are a law clerk?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which office?
Which office? In Toronto? Are you guys in Toronto?
Yeah, I'm in Toronto.
Okay. Airden Burles, LLP.
Okay. Because I used to be a law clerk too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, with Alonzo Abbey.
Alonzo Abbey. That name sounds familiar. Smaller law firm, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
it was him and his wife, and then now it's just him.
Okay.
Yeah,
this one's
a few black lawyers in the city. I'm pretty sure you've seen him before.
Probably. There's not many.
Yeah,
there's not many. You notice how they came out with the article now about having more black lawyers and black faces in firms. I can count how many black people are in my firm, and it's a very large firm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we're changing that.
Yeah, that we have to.
Yeah, we have to. We have to encourage our kids that they can do anything. They could
Yeah.
become lawyers too. They can open big practices too, just like those other big lawyers.
Yeah.
They can open their own. They can be doctors and open their own hospitals. Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
You gotta push them to the limit and show them that they can do it, right?
Yeah, because it's possible. I've seen it first.
It is, and you know what? It's even more possible when we join together.
Yeah.
We can't be going against each other and expecting things just to happen like that. It doesn't happen like that.
Well, that's sometimes our downfall.
That's our biggest downfall.
Yeah.
And that's why I want to work hard to change that.
Yeah.
Because you see other races, they unite. No offense, if you see a Caucasian or an Asian or a person from Indian descent and they want to start a company, they join together. They say, my brother, I have $20,000. How much do you have? They put it together. They open this company. And even when they want to separate, you rarely see them fighting over money because they already know, well, I put in this and we already had the agreement, the paperwork showing that this is how much I'm going to walk away with.
Yeah.
But within our Black community, we fight over everything. We automatically see jealousy. We automatically see competition. We got to stop that.
I think it's because we have so little all the time that when someone gets something, they're protected of it, and then they feel that the person is trying to move into their spot or take what they have.
It's funny, I was talking to somebody about that, and I was saying, one, we're conditioned to it. Two, we got to teach each other and our young kids how to be able to handle it when we have it. When you don't have it, you still got to know how to handle it when you do get it. Because of course we never had it. Of course most of our families never even had 40 grand in their account at one time.
That's true.
But how do we teach each other to be able to handle it so we don't switch up on each other and start fighting each other?
But that's one thing to teach and then one thing to learn and actually do it.
Baby steps.
Yeah, because
and we have to start with the younger generation, because we can't use the excuse that we didn't know and then pass that on to the younger generation.
Yeah.
Because right now, if you look at the younger generation, they're all going at each other's throats.
I know.
My boy got cool shoes. I want them too. Why can't you just be happy for your friend and figure out how you can get them for yourself instead of, being jealous of them?
Yeah.
You have no idea what that kid's parent went through to get them those shoes. Or the new iPhone. Or you have no idea that kid worked day and night and still went to school to buy that phone.
Yeah.
But remember, it's us, it's our generation, the older generation, that's passing knowledge to them. Kids don't just wake up like that. We teach them that.
That's true.
Listen, we can't say, well, it's hard and that's just the way that it is. No. And it's funny that you said that, because this morning I woke up and I wasn't feeling, I was just like, I should cancel this interview. I don't want to go anymore. Like, what am I doing? And it's so often like the devil will ride me and be like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing talking about this Life's Deceit book and talking about you're going to change the world? Let it go. You can't do nothing. And I was talking to my children's father, and he was talking about something that his mom had done. And the other day, my brother and I got into an argument about something. My younger sister, we don't have the same father.
Yeah.
But we're raised in the same household. The way that my mom and my stepdad treated her is way different than my brother and I. So it so happens that she's turning 20 next month. She went out to one of her friends at a hotel party, and she told her mom she was going to sleep over there. And her dad wasn't okay with it, but her dad said, whatever your mom says, right? My sister's a lesbian, by the way.
Okay.
My brother had said to my sister, well, when you come home, you and your dad are going to be in some arguments. So she's like, why? I already spoke to my mom about it, so why would he be mad? My brother is like, you know how it is. That's just the way that he is. And I said, you should not be telling your younger sister that's just the way that he is, because that's the way that we were raised. And look at us now trying to break cycles.
Yeah.
You're not even like opening up about your feelings. You can't expect her, a millennium, to be okay with, that's just the way it is, I have to live with it.
Well, that's the thing, because I know exactly what you're talking about with the older parents and the West Indian background.
Yep. Jamaican background. Yep. She told them I'm a lesbian, but their blinders are on. No, she's not a lesbian. Gotta go heal you. Oh my God, no. How kind of demon this? Like, no, she's telling you this is what she is. You have to accept that and love her just for whatever that she is, however she chooses to be. Love her for that. Embrace her in this moment, because the world's already against her. Why does she need her parents and her family against her? Just because you don't like it doesn't mean that
it's always best to agree to disagree sometimes.
Yeah, but my brother is more I don't like conflict.
I'm sort of like that kind of.
So he says he doesn't like conflict, he'll just shut up. But I'm like, no, you can't do that.
You know what's really crazy as you're saying that right now? My sister used to say that about me and my brother.
Yeah.
We would be the ones not saying anything, and then she'll be the outspoken one.
She'll be that's my brother said, you're different. You don't live here. And I'm like, I don't live there, but I made a choice to change things, because now I have kids, and there's kids that are growing up, and it's either you listen to them, try to understand them, or they're just going to slip away from you. And that's not what you want. You don't want your kids to slip away from you. And then they go out in the streets, and what do you think is going to happen out there? What do you think what do you think is going to happen when you send when your kids leave you, go out there knowledgeless?
Yeah.
And it happens to a lot of females. They end up with guys who are just telling them, oh, I love you, babes, do this for me. They're programming our children's.
Yeah.
How they want them to think and believe and move in the world.
It's like,
and it's funny, my stepdad, apparently he said to my brother, oh, your sister went to a hotel. You and my Janelle never did that when you guys were younger. What do you think? I'm raising a prostitute? And I'm like, why is that the first thing that came to your mind, that because she went to a hotel means that she's prostituting?
Yeah. It's just,
that's a made up thing you already have in your mind.
It's like the generation gap is there, and then some people just have their mindset on what thing is, and then they don't want to
change.
They don't want to change.
But why do we have to accept that? Because you don't want to change, so I have to accept it and shut up.
Yeah.
My sister's now going to have trauma. She already has trauma. She's already insecure. And that came from her parents.
That's one of the big problems in the world, is people just not trying to understand each other's viewpoints.
Right, but it's so bad within the Black community.
Yeah, I know.
In Black household, it's my views or no views at all.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You're a lesbian, you're gay? No, 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 no.
Yes, like
We and you know what? I think it's important for, and there's certain teachings that we learned in our household that are amazing. I'm not going to discredit that. There's amazing teachings that I learned in my household that I pass on to my own children. Like, respect is respect. When your parents speak to you, you have respect.
yeah.
Even if they're wrong, you could still be respectful and say, no, mom, dad, that's not the way.
Because just the other day I had a conversation with my friend and we were talking about this, and he was saying he had to talk to his dad sometimes the way that he has to talk to him like if he started to another man, because sometimes they forget that people are grown.
Yep.
They don't want to level with you at the same level because they're still saying they're bigger than you are age, but
or they have more knowledge than you because of age.
More knowledge because of
and
age.
Not true, because the younger ones can teach the older ones things that they don't even know.
Yeah.
Because they're already stuck in their ways, but now we have new technology.
And then new experiences that
So exactly. So we gotta change that. We gotta change that dynamic and that stigma, that generational cycle that most Black people are traumatized and dying from.
Yeah.
I've heard my sister say before that her dad doesn't love her.
Yeah.
And I've heard her, she has not said she's suicidal, but I see it in her.
Well, I just had a friend tell me a similar situation where the brother had called saying he felt suicidal too, just a few days ago. So that's
good that he called and told, because most times they don't, because they're afraid that people are going to judge them and be like, you're crazy, suicidal, that's how devil talk. No, these are my emotions. This is how I feel in this moment. And I want you to hear me out and not judge me.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you're going through things and it hurts just that bad where you feel like, I can't deal with it anymore. And all you need is someone just to listen to you and talk you through it.
So what do you think why some people could handle like a lot of pressure and then some people can't? Because there's some people that go through a lot of stuff and then you wouldn't even believe that they went through it until you talk to them, but they seem to handle it in a different fashion than someone else. Because sometimes it's about the person's personality too, how they handle situations.
Their personality, and I would say their foundation. Because for me, I didn't really have a lot of friends. I didn't tell anybody anything.
Yeah.
But like I say to people, I became my own counselor for some reason. Like I was able to like talk myself through certain things. And even though I didn't know much about God, I was still praying.
Yeah.
And no matter what I was going through, it was almost like he gave me something to know that I was going to get out of it.
Yeah.
So it's your foundation. It
just tells you, your spirit.
Yeah, your spirit tells you. You have to have a solid foundation with yourself and with God.
Yeah,
and I know
you love yourself. You gotta love yourself.
And you have to love yourself. You have to be that little voice that's telling yourself, get up. You'll pull through.
Yeah.
This is not the end. This is not end all be all. This is just a story that's gonna bring you somewhere different. Everything we go through is an experience.
Yeah.
And you have to keep telling yourself that even though this might look like the worst, this is for a greater purpose.
And then there's sometimes you go through things and then there's people that's going through worse too.
Yep.
When you think of going through something, there's
always somebody going through worse.
Yeah.
And we just don't know, right?
And you just don't know.
Yep. So I would say it's a solid foundation, love for self, and a connection with God.
Yeah.
Because as young as I was, there was always that connection, even though I didn't really fully know much about God.
Okay.
So,
so I see you have a book out and it has an interesting name. Could you tell us why you named it that?
Commitment to a Deceitful Liar.
There you go.
My son was just a little bit under 2, and I was on the computer, and I opened the computer. And when I opened the computer, it was open to his dad's Facebook account.
Yeah.
And it was a message to his cousin saying that he thinks that he has another girl in Jamaica pregnant. Because he just came back from Jamaica on vacation with my son.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what? And in that moment, I swear to you, I was angry, but I was like, holy shit, I'm repeating a cycle here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm repeating a cycle that him and I even both talked about, that we're going to try to break cycles and not raise our children in those same toxic cycles that we were raised in. And right when I was sitting on the chair, God said, Commitment to a Deceitful Liar. That's going to be your first book. And I was like, I can't be no author. You know, because, you know, when you hear about authors, you think it's those authors that use the big words and, you know, everything's precise and everything, you know, they're well-established people.
Yeah.
That's the perception. That was the perception for me, right? So I was like, write a book? I was like, no way. Coming to a Deceitful Liar, definitely. Because we live in life with lies. There's so many lies that are instilled in us, transferred in us, and we stay committed to them. Not even just in relationships, but as you go through life. You hear a lot of things about Caucasian people. People used to say, oh, Caucasian people can't cook. That ain't true. Trust me, I've had some finger-licking good food from them. You hear things about Africans. When I was growing up, you used to hear the most terriblest things about Africans.
Yeah.
And Africans are the most...
It's because of like when you see programming on television.
Exactly.
So the stereotypes and everything that people see, it gets into their subconscious. Sometimes they don't even realize it too.
Yep. And you hear, how many times have you heard people say strippers are nasties, they're whores, they could have done better. Why did they make that choice? And you automatically start judging them and you don't even know their story.
Yeah. Because everyone has a story.
Everybody has a story. Everybody has a reason for what they went through. That was their story. That was their journey that they had to go through.
Yeah.
Or even drug dealers. You hear so many, oh, he's a drug dealer, he's my thief, my this, my that, my criminal, my gunman. Okay, so you're saying because he went through that in life means that he can't become nothing? Means that he shouldn't be given a chance? There's so many lies that I've been passed down. Like when I first met my children's father, and I told him what I went through with my uncle and that I was molested. He was remorseful, of course. He was angry. But I remember one time we had an argument and he said to me, Ria Pagyal. I was like, did he really? And I told his mom's like, you should have never told him. I said, why? Why should I have not? That's something you should have kept secret for yourself. Why? Why should I have kept it a secret? Because he doesn't understand what a person that went through rape experienced or how they feel. All he knows is what he was taught when he was a child in Jamaica, was that any girl that got raped is no good.
Yeah, and that
they're damaged goods.
And that also is the reason why people keep stuff inside or don't tell people, because of situations like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this book is not just about relationship, because there's 3 parts to this book.
Okay.
This is just part 1 that talks about the background. This is not just about relationship. This is about the lies that were passed down, were instilled in us, and how we need to be ready to unlearn and relearn.
Yeah.
And for people to open up and be able to want to write a book and tell their stories, we need more Black people writing books in ways that our community will understand and receive and be able to have their own breakthroughs and heal from it.
Yeah.
Are you going to take advice from somebody who never went through something or went through the same situation that you went through?
Correct.
Chances are you're not. If
Yeah.
you were in the street selling drugs and you had to do it because you have to feed your family, you're in a rough situation, you went to jail, you came out, and now you're trying to get yourself together. And somebody comes up to you who's already has their company, they're established, they've never been through nothing you went through.
Yeah.
And they don't know what it feels like to be a Black man. And they're telling you, you can do it too, buddy. You can open a company too. Are you gonna be like, oh yeah, maybe, yeah. Their story's different.
Yeah.
They've never been through what you went through. But somebody who's been through what you've been through and pulled through can help you start that journey. Can help you start your own company because they've been to jail, they've been in the streets before, and they can give you some tools.
Yeah, that's why I think it's good that there is people that like to create like yourself and write. Like, for example, JayZ would be a good example of what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because look where he was and now look where he is now, a billionaire.
Exactly.
Multiple companies and everything. So that is like good inspiration for people that's been in a situation like him.
Yeah. It would help them a lot. And I think that's what we need to do as a culture is pass down our knowledges to each other, pass down our experience, pass down our successes. Generational wealth is not keeping it for yourself. Generational wealth is not only giving it to your family, immediate family.
Yeah.
It's bigger than that. You got to pass it down and make a way for other people.
Yeah, because other cultures do that. That's what other cultures do.
If you really think about it, you're building generational wealth and you're only passing it down to your kids. Who says that your kid's going to want to pass it down to anybody else?
Yeah.
You got to spread that out to different mindsets.
Yeah, that's the only way.
To different people of walks of life where they can open community centers, open shelters, open schools.
Yeah, drop the seeds different places.
Drop the seeds different places.
Yeah.
You got to drop seeds in different people because everybody has something different in them that God's going to use for something bigger.
That's true.
Martin Luther King and them already planted a seed for us to carry on. Are we carrying it on in the right way? No. We can't just say Black Lives Matter for a few months, for a few days, do marches and stuff, and then just stop there. It's bigger than that. We got to do more. We got to start opening things for our kids where they can learn more about real Black culture, not just what they want us to know.
Watching, since it was the Dr. Martin Luther King Day, someone was watching an interview and they showed an interview with him talking about his marches and everything, but he also was saying that is great and everything, but you have to also be there when the hype is not around and do the work when the hype's not around. And I think that thing, a lot of people get caught up in the hype, but then when you put in the work, it's too much work or they can't be bothered.
They can't be bothered.
Yeah.
Not when the cameras are on. Not when the hashtag sounds good.
Yeah.
Even when nobody's marching anymore, you got to do the work. Put out business plans to open schools. They're going to teach us about things about ourselves, emotions that we're going through.
Forces that don't want people to succeed in everything. I keep the order how it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
But we can change that. Everybody keeps saying, oh, it's too hard. It takes a while. Was it too hard for Martin Luther King and them? It wasn't too hard for them. And their time, they didn't have no technology like we do now. They didn't. We are such a powerful race now, and we don't even realize it.
Yeah.
Until we realize how powerful and beautiful and great we are, things won't change.
I know. And then when some people try to do things and then it doesn't help out, doesn't work out, others should also try to back them so they won't lose their motivation to do things. I see that happen a lot.
Right. Come up with new ways, new ideas. I remember when I was first starting this night, I started my Instagram page, and I was looking the other day, I had a story reminder, and it brought up one of my posts of when I first started doing my posts.
Yeah.
And my backgrounds were terrible.
Yeah.
I used to put my little signature behind the words. It was not very appealing at all. But my friend would say to me, here, try this new way. Here's a page that you can learn how to do content. Here's a way that you can put your book out there. You know, you gotta network, you gotta do. She was fetching new ideas to me. She didn't just listen to me say, oh, this is not working. I'm just gonna leave it and just forget about it. No, she was researching and looking up stuff for me and sending it to me and bouncing ideas off of me. So we got to learn to be each other's support, even when things aren't working out, even when things are working out.
Yeah.
Still find new ways, new methods.
As you said, like someone has to make this change. Someone has to change.
Yeah, because it's beyond, when we leave here, our kids have to go through it still. And then their kids have to go through it still.
That's a good point. Yeah, yeah.
So why are we leaving the fight for them alone when we could pave a whole way for them?
Yeah.
And then they'll have more knowledge to be able to carry it on in a different way.
Yeah, because the time we would...
And use their brain, not just their hands. You don't need to use aggression.
Yeah. So when you were writing the book, because you said you never wrote a book before, how long did it take you to formulate the whole book? Because I've edited books for my dad. He does poetry.
Yeah.
So I see the process people go through with that. So I know it's not just you got that idea and then it just happened like the next day. I know there's a process.
Well, this book was 8 years in the making. It only took me two to 3 months to write.
Okay.
But it was me bucking my toe in fear of how people receive it, what they're gonna say. And I'm like, why do I care what people are gonna say? They don't know me. People are always gonna have something to say. No matter what you do in life, they're always gonna have something to say. Even if you lied and said nothing like this ever happened to you, they're gonna have something to say, whether good or bad.
Yeah.
But I'm not worried about those people. I'm supposed to be worried about the people that need this.
Yeah, you have to just keep it.
The ones that are at home going through things and they can't heal because they're holding on to this pain and this secret that they... And even when I was writing this book, that was so healing for me. I didn't even know I needed healing in certain areas when I was writing this book. Even reading it back to myself, I started laughing and I'm like, oh my gosh, Janelle now would have never allowed these things.
Yeah.
Janelle now? I swear to you, at one point I was reading and I'm like, no, I didn't know. I let this happen? I was like, me? I'm a changed person. I could see the change even reading back this book to myself. And I laughed because I'm like, thank you, God, I had to go through that to become who I am now.
We are now.
I'm more confident. Before I used to, I don't know if you remember back in the day, we used to have the sweep, the hair sweep. I used to hide my face because I was so shy. I didn't want anybody to see my face.
Yeah.
I wore that bang like it was attached to me.
Yeah, I remember that style.
Right?
Yeah.
And I didn't realize how insecure I was. Now I'm like, oh my gosh, look at me. I'm brighter. I used to be so dark, so miserable. So this process was a long process just because I was fighting my own self.
Yeah, sometimes we are our own worst enemy.
Yep. Oh my God, I kept saying step. I said step. What are you afraid of? Why are you afraid to step? This is not just for you. This is for my people. Because remember, God wants to serve his people in different ways.
Yeah.
Not just by, like, okay, I'll give you an example. There's this fellow that I used to go to church with. I used to go to church Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yeah.
So I used to go to church religiously, and I used to give a few people rides home because the pastor used to be like, okay, we give this person a ride home. I was like, okay, no problem.
Yeah.
And he messaged me in the summertime and said, oh my gosh, when my wife showed me your page, I couldn't believe that it was you. I'm like, what does it mean he couldn't believe that it was me? I'm like, okay, no problem. He's like, we really need to talk because there's so many things that went on that you didn't even realize. I thought that you would have offed yourself already. I'm so shocked that you're still alive. And I'm like, what did he see that I didn't see? I know I was going through a spiritual warfare, but what did you see that I didn't see? Because I'm telling you the truth, while they thought I was dying, God was building me up. They weren't even paying attention to that. And silently, he was building me up. And if you're my brother and I gave you rides home and you thought that I was going to kill myself, why didn't you ever reach out to me?
Sure. Yeah.
Right? You would have just said, oh, I knew she was going to do it one day. I could tell. But you never reached out to try to stop me or anything or ask me what's going on.
Yeah.
Now, I wrote a comment saying, I wrote a post that said, we need to stop resisting and allow God to do what he needs to do in our life. And he sent my post back to me and said, I see you writing all these quotes about God and stuff, and it's all good and all, but if you're going to write about God, you need to use scriptures, and we don't need to allow God to do anything in our life because he's the creator. I'm like, you know what? When he first messaged me, I knew I was under attack because I felt something, and I said, I'm under attack and I feel it. I feel it.
Yeah.
And it was coming from, because I'm reading and I'm like, you know what? You're wrong. We do need to allow God to do this because we are our worst enemies. And we will resist when God's trying to shift us. Same thing with friends. Sometimes God will be showing us playing out that this person is not good for us, but we hold on to it. We hold on to that person. We hold on to those things instead of saying, you know what? It's time for me to shift and move into a different season. But we get comfortable in this season that we won't even allow ourselves to grow into the next one.
Yeah.
So we do need to allow and give God full control. Because there's things that we want to do in life and we'll be like, oh, I'm giving it to God, but yet we're coddling it. I can take care of it all by myself. No, you can't. You can't do everything by yourself.
No, you can't.
You can't. But sometimes we all think, and sometimes God will send people to us to help us do that thing that we want to do and build up that vision. And we'll be like, nah, I don't want no help from that person. Nah, I'm good. I'm not going to tell nobody.
Yeah.
Are you blind? You got to discern. You got to know how to pray how you want to pray and talk to God how you want to talk, and you'll know if it's for you or not for you. So he's like, oh, you use Bible scripture. That's not true. You can lead people to certain things and lead people to God and use the Bible. Yes, there's another way. There's a love.
Yeah.
There's
Because
truth.
there's knowing the scriptures, but then there's also people seeing example of how you're living.
Yep.
Because that example that you just said right there, that doesn't sound very Christian or scripture-like. And then he's telling you about using scripture.
Exactly. So I was like, wait, so you're telling me that's the only way to bring people to God? That's not true.
Yeah.
Right? Just like I say, God is love. God doesn't discriminate.
And then,
But when you go to church, sometimes they make you feel like, well, God's not accepting to you. He doesn't love you.
Yeah.
Since when do we own God? I don't own him. You don't own him.
Never heard that line before, yeah?
But most, and not to call anybody out or discriminate, but most Christians do act like they own God.
Yeah.
We do not, none of us own God. God owns us.
Yeah, that's a good saying.
So there's different, and there's different ways, and I have my first short version of my workbook.
Oh, so you have another book too?
Yeah, so this is my workbook that's coming out also with Commitment to a Deceitful Liar.
Oh, okay.
And then there's going to be a longer version to this book.
Yeah.
And then there's a part 2 and 3 to Commitment to a Deceitful Liar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where could we get those books?
The workbook is on Amazon.
Amazon.
And To A Deceitful Liar is on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Goodreads. It's on all the online platforms.
Okay.
And if you go to my website, you can click on the links from there, which is www.JanelleSimpson.com.
All right. So is there anything else you would like to tell the audience?
No. Buy the book, read it. Read all three of them so you understand. And I hope that it drives other people to open up and release and write their own book. We all got a story, and our stories can help other people and help our own selves.
Yeah.
And it's encouraging for our community to start reading more and writing more, not just listening to what people say, but read. Pick up a book and read.
Yeah, that's a thing that is really lacking sometimes.
Yeah, reading, right? Yeah.
Because that's how you get information and you can make correct decisions in life. But
exactly. And write things down, journal, plan.
Yeah.
Hi guys, shout out Worldwide Entertainment TV.
Space. Much love, much love.
What's up everybody, it's your girl Chantel and you already know we bigging up Worldwide Entertainment TV. You done know.
Worldwide Entertainment TV.
Hey y'all, it's your dancehall diva, Sexy Pepper, and I'm giving a big shout out to WWE TV. Thank you guys for having me.